Hi everybody. Okay, I wanted to show you how the TDA is graded before we get started writing one for April morning, which will be tomorrow. We're going to talk about the 4-3-2-1 just like you had before with the Revolutionary War expository essay. A little bit different though in the sense that this is such a different type of writing, much shorter than your normal expository essay. So clearly you're looking to write a number 4, and it all starts with what the prompt is. We'll get to that in a little bit, but you have to make sure that you answer the prompt. The prompt obviously for April morning, because you already did the TDA chart throughout the novel. The prompt is, how does Howard Fast use the theme coming of age throughout the entire story? And you need to make sure that in your intro you answer that. You put that back into a statement. You need to provide evidence of coming of age, and then you need to analyze, and you're used to doing that. Use good explicit and implicit information. Don't worry so much about these words here. It just means that your evidence of coming of age needs to be either real obvious, explicit, or implicit, meaning you or the reader has to make an inference to show that it's coming of age. And that just means that you might have to do a little more analysis to prove to your reader that it is in fact an example of coming of age. Strong structure. I would paragraph. I would have an intro paragraph. And then I would have 3 examples, so you'll have a different paragraph for each of your examples. Now, do you have to do this on a TDA? No. Would I do it? Absolutely. It makes it more organized. So inevitably it ends up being 5 paragraphs again. Good mechanics, that's your grammar, spelling, capitalization, punctuation. This just means you use good 7th grade words. Don't say the same thing over and over again. We just talked about paragraphing. Makes you more organized. Good topic sentence, where you definitely take that prompt and you answer it. The question is, how does Howard Fast use the theme coming of age throughout the entire novel? So put it back into a statement. In April Morning by Howard Fast, the author uses the theme coming of age throughout the entire novel through the character Adam Cooper. Yes, you can use that. Make sure in your analysis you continue to go back and prove your prompt. Continue to explain how your evidence proves coming of age. Continue to go back to that theme, coming of age, coming of age, coming of age. Don't forget what you're proving here. Don't forget to, well, we're going to use Surviving Antarctica as an example in a little bit. Don't forget to use in your topic April Morning, and it gets underlined, and say it by Howard Fast. You always have to say the title of the text that you are discussing. Don't forget to get that in there. When you do your evidence, it's okay to paraphrase, as long as you do an in-text citation after the paraphrase, just like we did in the Revolutionary War essay. Because we only have one source here, which is the novel you'll be talking about, all you need to do is to put the page number in parentheses after the sentences that are evidence that you paraphrased. That's it. Because you already talked about what the text is that you are discussing up in your topic sentence. You already said April Morning or Surviving Antarctica or whatever it is. So only the page number, and you don't need to put a P or a P period, just the page number. You can also use quotes as long as you punctuate them correctly. Same thing, put the page number, and then the period goes outside the parentheses. Don't overuse quotes, it gets ugly. If you're going to have these really long quotes, paraphrase them. Almost never will a TDA prompt ask you to summarize a story. Do not summarize a plot. You'll get a 0 or you'll get a 1. Okay, that's it for this page. Make sure you click to the next slide and press play again. I know this is interesting stuff. Again, do not just retell. Do not just summarize. They're looking for evidence and analysis. If you just retell a story, if you just summarize April morning, you'll get a 1. If you have inaccurate information, if you say Moses did something and it was really Cousin Simmons, you'll get a 1. Don't say the same thing over and over again. At the end, in your conclusion, restate the so what. Explain again for April morning, for example. Explain again that Adam had to grow up throughout the course of a day in the beginning of the Revolutionary War, and therefore coming of age became more and more apparent throughout the entire novel. This is huge, especially after what I've seen you've done on your essays so far is making sure you have complete sentences. Reread the TDA back to yourself. You will hear incomplete sentences. Capitalization, probably the biggest error I saw with your essays. Verb tense. Put it all in the past or all in the present. There's a verb, at least one in every single sentence, and every single verb should be all in the same verb tense. That was a big issue as well. So hopefully this helps you a little bit. We're going to move on to using Surviving Antarctica as an example to help you with your April morning TDA, which we are going to start tomorrow.